Hello everyone, it's me Joe from About Going Blind, and on the last edition of the Blind Spectator for the 25-26 season we're going to do my Doncaster Rovers end of season awards. For one last time this season, without further ado, let's get into it. Reviewing the season from an overall perspective then, I would score this season on the old school GCSE route of A star to F grade. I'd probably give this season a B. I think for this to be our first season back in League One, a lot of players first time playing at this level also, I think it's been a solid season back in the division. Yes, it would have been great to mount a serious playoff push, but ultimately, staying in the division had to be the aim at the start of this season. And ultimately, that is exactly what we've done. We started off great, picking up wins over Exeter, Bradford, Rotherham to start the season with. First defeat of the season came away at Huddersfield in a game we were really unfortunate to lose in. We had the majority of the possession, the best chances, but ultimately a more experienced team who spent millions of pounds in the summer came away victorious in that. Then as we got to September, we went away to Wigan and lost that game very convincingly. And from then we went a good 3 months with one victory, I think, sandwiched in between, that home game against Peterborough, where ultimately the experience proved that we didn't have it, so to speak. We didn't have enough of it, enough players that had played at this level. We had a lot of youth. The loan signings were young players that, for instance, like Charlie Crew, who we'd known last season, O'Riordan, young players that ultimately weren't what we needed at that time. But as I said back then, I will always trust Grant McCann in the early part of the season. I do wish we could settle on a starting 11 at the start of the season and stick with it. Obviously, injuries, suspensions comes into play, swapping those players out, and if you play well enough, you keep your place, and then somebody else has got to try and get in ahead of you. I do think sometimes, for the last couple of seasons at least, we've swapped and changed maybe a little bit too much in the early part of the season, which upsets the rhythm of the group. But as I was saying, a Grant McCann team always kicks in after Christmas. And ultimately, that's what happened. Grant came out and said he'd set the team, or the squad rather, a challenge to finish as high up as they could for the second half of the season. And as things stand, we finished 6th within that, which, if we could have replicated that over a full season, would have been fantastic and would have been getting an A star. Obviously, come the January, with the signings of Xander Clark, Neil Byrne, Elliot Lee, Akiba DeLaken, it brought with it the experience that we were so desperately lacking on that poor run of games where we couldn't buy a win, couldn't even buy a point. But ultimately, the second half of the season has been much improved and has helped with those experienced heads in and around the team and the squad. There are glimpses there of a core nucleus of a team and a squad that could go on to do things within this division. Lincoln City had 7 years in League One and have ultimately won the league at an absolute canter. Stevenage have been in this division. Stockport, I'm looking at smaller clubs that are probably punching above the weight in terms of the other big teams that are in this division. Teams that have been in the Premiership not so long ago. Reading, to name one of those. Luton, who have not hit the heights they would have expected. Huddersfield, especially Huddersfield, who have not hit the heights those fans would have expected to. from a purely size history of the club. So they're the teams that we need to be looking at, your Stevenages, your Stockports, your Lincolns, and building a squad and a team capable of being really tight at the back, not giving the ball away very cheaply. Once we get into a lead, holding that lead. I think that's something that Stevenage and Lincoln have done so brilliantly this season, that once they are in the lead, you're going to really struggle to win that game. So, yeah, they're the things that we need to be taking forward next season. And ultimately, if we can in the summer, getting a goal scorer is such a hard thing to do because everybody wants one. But if you can pick up a striker, whether that be in the conference north even, somebody that's just fallen out of favour, League One, League Two, somebody out of contract who we can convince to come, then fantastic. My end of season awards then. So I'm going to do a top 3 of these, and in third place would be Jackie Senior. Absolutely fantastic. He has nailed down that left back spot, can slot in at centre half as well, and since January has made that position his own. He's been fantastic. Saw glimpses of it last season. He's very robust in his tackles. He's committed 100%. He will run through a brick wall. At the time of this video, he hasn't signed a new contract with us. He's out of contract. We don't have the option to extend, although he has been offered a new deal. I really hope he signs for next season and that left back spot continues to be his own. Number 2 for me then, Robbie Gotts. Now, a few people within the game who've got quite an interest will have known about Robbie Gotts for a few years. He obviously came through at Leeds United under Bielsa. Bielsa couldn't praise him enough. He then left Leeds to get first team football, went to Barrow, a player that Grant McCann had tracked for a while. He's out of contract at Barrow. Came to us in the summer, struggled for position, form, injuries didn't help. But again, another player that since January has nailed down that central midfield spot alongside another player who we might be mentioning next in the list, and has been fantastic. The amount of yellow cards he's got is ridiculous, but he's never been sent off for us. So we can get those yellow cards, he can make those challenges, and then he knows how to keep his head. He's so vital in the centre of midfield and somebody we could really build a team around for next season. So Robbie Gotts is number 2 for my player of the season. And number 1 for my Doncaster Rovers player of the year for the 25-26 season is none other than, drum roll please, Captain Fantastic, Owen Bailey. What an incredible season he's had, not only for his goal scoring exploits, but being made first team captain in the summer after Richard Wood left. He was captain for the majority of last season while Woody was injured, but he's been unbelievable. His first season playing at this level, and he's made it his own to be nominated for player of the season, to get into team of the season. Whilst playing for a team that has been languishing around the foot of the table for the majority of the season is an unbelievable achievement. I really do think Owen Bailey can go right to the top in the game. He's an unbelievable leader on the pitch, but also off it. He's an incredible asset to have as well. He's an incredible man, incredible guy. I met him at the start of the season at the training ground. I might have mentioned it once or twice. But he's so down to earth, just wants to play football, loves his football. When you hear his teammates speak, yeah, he's a real leader. And for somebody so young, who's inexperienced at this level, he's been absolutely outstanding. So hats off to you, Owen Bailey, and well done on this imaginary award. Most improved, then, we'd have to give to Jack Senior for the reasons I've just mentioned. He was struggling to get into the team a bit last season, but has really held his own this season and been fantastic. So most improved player of the 25-26 season for Doncaster Rovers is Jack Senior. Signing of the season then, obviously, has to go to Robbie Gotts for the reasons I've already mentioned. But I do tip my hat to Elliot Lee and Neil Byrne coming in January and really steadying that ship and, like I mentioned, giving us the experience at this level that we so vitally needed. Of the season, would probably be one of two games, really. It'd either be the Wigan game, winning 3-0 and drawing 3-3, but I think the one that would have to take it for me would be the Stockport game in the Virtue Trophy semi-final. To be this close to our first Wembley trip in 18 years, the first one I'd go to with my boy and my dad, all three of us together after supporting Rovers all over the country, would have been really special. Ultimately, it wasn't to be, but it was a disappointing performance on the night by the team that Grant put out, a team that he thought was capable of winning the game, and ultimately didn't really turn up. So, taking my award for the biggest disappointment of the 25-26 campaign would be losing 1-0 to that ultimately great free kick by Lou Norwood in the Virtue Trophy. My last award of the day is going to have to be best game of the season. And it's one of two South Yorkshire away wins. Either Barnsley or Rotherham. And I'm going to have to pick Rotherham. It's a tough one, but coming from 1-0 down, first time we've won at Rotherham in my lifetime, which is a ridiculous amount of time. But then for it to be the double, and the first time we've done the double in pretty much my dad's entire lifetime, is even more crazy. But yeah, it was a great day out. The away end was rocking. Really enjoyable on that. Barnsley was great in the sun. Again, Wayne was rocking, but we took the lead and we stayed in the lead. But to come from behind against Rotherham, break that hoodoo that's been hanging over us for all those years. Unbelievable day out. That brings an end to the last video of the 25-26 season then. Hope you've all enjoyed watching. Thank you for all those that have watched, that have tuned in, that have liked, shared, subscribed, everything in between. I really appreciate it. This is something I started back in August, something that I've learned while doing, learned to edit, learn what I like, what I don't like, how I want videos to look, and ultimately we'll continue to keep learning. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel as we've got some guests lined up for the close season. I know I've spoke about this throughout the season, but with work and things like that, it's difficult to plan these things in, then take the time to edit them. But now I'm going to have my Saturdays free again. Yeah, like I say, keep your eyes on the channel for that. We're going to have some other stuff coming up. I'm going to the boxing in a couple of weeks. We'll listen to the commentary on that. And report back and have some videos from that. We'll do a full vlog on that, and anything that you want to see me vlog in the meantime, let me know. Hopefully we can carry on growing this channel, but it's only by you guys who watch this, sharing it, liking it, subscribing, that I can keep growing it and I can keep improving ultimately myself. But yeah, thank you for watching this one and every other one that you've watched. I do appreciate it more than you could ever know. But that's it for this season, folks. Hope you've enjoyed watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the channel for what's to come.